not satisfied. There is discontent when there is Thinamitta. And Tandi, when there is Thinamitta, there is Tandi. Tandi means lethargy. Lazy, the mind becomes very lazy, and Vijambita, we want to stretch the body, stretch our hands and legs because of that laziness. And it is the sluggishness of mind. The mind becomes very sluggish when there is Thinamitta. So this is the nature of Thinamitta. The mind becomes inactive, very dull. The mind becomes very heavy. So it feels like sick, mentally and physically sick. No strength at all. So that type of nature is Thinamitta Nivarana. So whenever there is Thinamitta, the mind does not have a power, the driving power. And Thinamitta dispels energy, effort, viriya. When Thinamitta is there is no effort. Actually, Thinamitta and viriya, effort, are two opposite dhammas, two direct opposite dhammas. When there is sloth and torpor, there is no effort, no viriya. But when there is effort, this effort can dispel Thinamitta. So whenever Thinamitta is present, then it dispels energy. And the mind, because it is like a frozen butter, it becomes very heavy, and we won't be able to note those objects. It's the sinking nature, the shrunken mind. So when there is this Thinamitta, sometimes it's very difficult to manage, very difficult to carry on the job that we are doing here. It's very difficult to carry on that job. So this type of Thinamitta, it occurs because of unwise attention, ayoniso manasikara, to boredom, to laziness, thinking about boredom and lazy all the time. It makes our mind more slackened. So what to do when we have that type of Thinamitta? Because when they are present, we cannot observe the objects. So mind is not active, alert. We are missing many objects. We are sitting there, but the mind is doing nothing. Therefore, we have to dispel this type of Thinamitta. And in the text, many causes, many ways to dispel those Thinamitta are mentioned. In some places, what we can do is contemplating on the light, moonlight or sunlight or other candlelight, whatever light. Contemplating on the light makes this Thinamitta disappear. So we can do that way also. And sometimes we may need to change posture. We may need to change posture. And also sometimes not eating too much. Yeah, sometimes the drowsiness occurs right after the meal. So not eating too much also can dispel this tina metta. And sometimes sitting on the open place, sitting on the open air also makes the mind more fresh. So that way we can dispel the tina metta. Therefore, tina metta, when it occurs, it hinders us from doing the wholesome job, especially in satipatthana practice. It obstructs us from noting the objects. Therefore, the tina metta is compared to a prison, a jail. So when a person is jailed for some reason, and in the outside world there will be many festivals. So when this person is in the jail, then he will not get a chance to celebrate the festivals outside. People will be celebrating, but he will not get a chance because he is in the prison. But when he is out of the jail, then he will get a chance to celebrate the festivals. So same way, when tina metta, the sloth and torpor, overwhelm us, we cannot do any wholesome deeds. We cannot note the objects occurring at that very moment. So we will not able to celebrate the Dhamma that we can gain from that practice. We will not be able to taste the Dhamma. We will not be able to enjoy the Dhamma because we could not observe the objects one after another because of this overwhelmed by this tina metta. So this type of tina metta, sometimes it occurs in practice because when we think that our practice is not good, though we are observing the objects, sometimes we won't feel any specific knowledges. We won't feel that we gain some knowledges. We feel that my practice is not very good. My practice is not good. I'm not having any progress in the practice. So when that type of thoughts occur in the mind, and then we lose interest in the practice because we didn't see any benefits. We didn't experience anything special in the practice, the same type of experience all the time. The same experience all the time. So eating same food every day, it makes we don't want to eat same food every day. We want some changes. So in the practice also, if we are having same type of experience every day, then we lose interest in the practice. We don't want to continue the practice, though we are sitting inside the Dhamma hall, inside the meditation hall, doing sitting meditation, after that doing walking meditation. We follow the schedule, but the mind, the noting mind, is not focusing the objects. Noting mind is not focusing the objects. Noting mind is not noting the objects because we are not happy with our practice, so we don't want to continue. Boredom is there. We feel very bored noting the objects, and though we are sitting, though we are doing walking, but we are not observing very respectfully, very carefully. The noting mind does not fall on the object, so we didn't see the nature of object. There is no mindfulness, no continuity. So Thinamita, sloth, and torpor, what we understand is the feeling of sleepiness. We feel sleepy, but not only the sleepy. Though we are not sleepy, though we are very awake, but if we are lazy, we don't want to exert effort in noting the objects, then that is also Thinamita, sloth and torpor. Therefore, not only sleepiness is Thinamita, but the laziness, not exerting effort, not driving our mind towards the object. That is also a Thinamita, sloth and torpor. And in the text, Thinamita is compared with a moss. When the water is covered with moss, we cannot see what is in that water. Same way, if our mind is overwhelmed by Thinamita, sloth and torpor, we cannot see the things clearly. Therefore, whenever there is Thinamita, what we have to do is we have to note it immediately, as soon as it arises. We feel the Thinamita is about to come. Sometimes we can feel that, oh, the Thinamita will come very soon. So if we can note from that very time, we can sometimes easily overcome the Thinamita. So whenever Thinamita occurs, we have to note it very quickly. But sometimes when the noting mind is not very strong, our mindfulness is not very strong enough, then sometimes we cannot see the Thinamita. But at that time we cannot do. But once we wake up, then we have to note from that very moment. We have to observe the objects from that very moment. So that way also we can develop more mindfulness so that the Thinamita will not get a chance to occur into the mind. But regarding the laziness, though there is no sloth and torpor, no sleepiness, but laziness, what to do with that laziness? We are sitting for 1 hour, sometimes 2 hours, 3 hours, but the mind is not observing the objects very effectively. What to do at that time? So there might be something going in the mind. Just now we say sometimes in the practice when we did not feel some significant progress, then the mind becomes slackened. The mind becomes slackened when we did not feel some significant progress in the practice. At that time, we should exert more energy. So in this case, the initial effort is not enough. Yeah? At the beginning of the practice, we exert effort, aramba dhatu, initial effort, trying to note every arising objects with full effort and also with aiming. But when we feel very lazy, we feel bored, we are not interested, then that initial effort does not help here. We need more effort. Nekamma dhatu, boosted effort. We need to boost up effort. We need to put more effort. We try to exert more effort, try to focus more the object and try to note it with full force, full effort. But that doesn't mean that we level it, we focus and level it in fast manner. We try to make our noting mind reach on that object, the object of observation. We try to push our noting mind so that it reaches the object, it falls on the object. We try 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, so try again and again. And sometimes when there's something going in the mind, then we have to note those mental objects also, but with very carefully. Otherwise, sometimes our mind will be drifted away. So we have to be very careful. And that way we can get rid of this tina metta, the hindrance of sloth and torpor. And another hindrance is uddhacca kukutsa nīvaranāni, the hindrance of restlessness and remorse. Uddhacca, restlessness. The mind becomes very restless when the things does not happen as we wish. The mind becomes very restless. So uddhacca and kukutsa, in Pali, it defined as cetaso avupasamo, means unsettledness of mind. The mind is not settled. The mind is not steady. The mind is not still on the object. The mind becomes very restless. The agitation and scattering, wandering. The mind does not stay on the object. It does not stay on the object. It's just wandering. It's like moving above the object. That is uddhacca, the mind, the noting mind, moving above the object. It does not settle on the object. So the mind is not stable, it is shaking, it is traveling everywhere. And that type of nature is uddhacca, and because of that, there is no quietness. The mind is not quiet. So therefore, the nature of this uddhacca is like, movements, the moving or shaking all the time, like a water whipped by the wind, the water shaking. Same way the mind also not quiet, shaking and traveling everywhere, wandering everywhere. That is the uddhacca. So it does not stay on one object. And it makes the mind unsteady. It makes the mind unsteady, always shaking, always moving. And because of that, there is a turmoil, turbulence in the mind. That is the nature of uddhacca. And when there is turmoil, we cannot see the things clearly because everything becomes like a cloudy. And there is a heap of ashes, and when one throws a stone on that ashes, the ashes will rise up so badly that we cannot see anything. So same way, when the mind, the noting mind is not steady, moving all the time, shaking, then we won't be able to see the nature of the object. The mind, the noting mind and the object are not close when there is uddhacca. The noting mind is far away from the object. It is away from the object, not close to the object. When it is far away from the object, then we won't see the things clearly. What nature that object has, we won't see it clearly. And the kukutsa is remorse, is a worry also. The remorse for the things, not doing the wholesome deeds in the past. Remembering that, oh, I haven't done the wholesome deeds in the past, and we feel now remorse. And also, when we commit something wrong in the past, and then we now recall it and we feel regret. So that type of regret, remorse is kukutsa. And we feel very sorry. We feel unhappy, we feel guilty when we call back our wrongful actions in the past. So this could happen, but instead of noting that type of remorse, that type of sorry feeling, that type of worry, guilty feeling, sometimes we just feeling guilty again and again. We just feeling remorse again and again. And that makes our mind unsettled. That makes our mind very shaky, unsteady. So having the feeling of remorse is actually not bad. We can learn a lesson from it for the future. Yeah, we can learn a lesson from it, but just having a mere remorse is not fruitful. Thinking about the past all the time, not focusing on the present, brings no benefits to us. So if we want to gain some benefits, then we have to work in the present moment. So just going back to the past, remembering the past incidents, the past actions all the time is also a hindrance. It does not let us stay in the present moment. We cannot focus on the objects occurring at the very present moment. Therefore, this kukutsa also a hindrance. So whenever there is uddhacca and kukutsa, restlessness and remorse, then the noting mind is very, how to say, the noting mind is not very calm because of this uddhacca and kukutsa. And there are a lot of wanderings, lot of imaginations, lot of thoughts coming into the mind. And in the course of practice also, sometimes this uddhacca and kukutsa occurs. Uddhacca, kukutsa occurs sometimes because of our life, our social life, the outside world. We are thinking about that again and again. But in the course of practice also, sometimes this uddhacca and kukutsa appears. It arises very badly. Sometimes we are too much putting effort in the practice. The effort is too much. We are worried about the practice, whether I am practicing correctly or not, whether I am in the right track or not. We are thinking that all the time. And we are checking ourselves. How is my noting? My noting is okay or not, whether my noting mind is on that object or not, whether I'm observing the objects systematically or not. So that makes our mind more wander. And sometimes we are judging ourselves. How am I doing? How was my notings? And sometimes we think what I am experiencing now is the real or not. Am I imagining or am I experiencing a very true nature? So we are judging ourselves. And sometimes we make a plan in noting the objects. Okay, this time I will note this way, and then I will note that way. We are making many plans because we are having too much concern in our practice. And that makes also the mind more scattered. That makes also the mind more scattered. So therefore, trying to stay in the present moment is very important. Just keep on noting whatever object is most prominent at that time. Try to focus on that object. Keep on noting that object continuously. And if by chance, if there arises this type of wondering, how am I doing, something like that, or examining one's practice, if those things occurred, then we have to note them immediately. We should not spend our time in judging or comparing. Sometimes we try to compare our present practice and also the past. In the past, I have practiced this way, now I am doing this way, I experienced that, now I'm experiencing this. So we are comparing. So we should not do that. And sometimes when instead of staying in the present moment, sometimes we are thinking about only the past. Only the past. We are remembering many things that happened in the past. We are remembering, and some memories are so bad, so painful, but because of that, now we feel very pain in our mind. We become very emotional because of that painful experiences in the past. So these all things, whenever they happen, they could happen. We cannot stop them from occurring. They could appear. But whenever they appear, what we have to do is just try to note immediately. Take it as an object. This is also a one object for us. This is also a one object for us. So we just note it immediately. So that way also we can dispel this restlessness and remorse, uddhacca and kukutsa. We should check ourselves sometimes in the practice, which one is disturbing a lot, Thena Metta or Uddhacca Kukutsa. Yeah? We already listened the 4 Nīvaranas, 4 hindrances, Kama Chanda, the sensual desire, Vyapada, ill will, Thena Metta, sloth and torpor, and Uddhacca Kukutsa, restlessness and remorse. So among these 4 hindrances, which one overwhelms us a lot? Sometimes we have to be very careful. I think most of us are overwhelmed by this Thena Metta and Uddhacca Kukutsa. Yeah, most of the time. We become very lazy very easily, though we are here to put our utmost effort in the practice because we want to gain the benefits of the Satipatthana practice. We know how we should behave in the practice, but still sometimes we cannot because of that laziness and because of that restlessness. And sometimes we are expecting a lot. We are expecting a lot. And that expectation also a big hindrance because we are expecting a lot and then the things does not happen as we wish and we feel restless. We feel lazy, we don't want to continue practice. And though we are doing sitting meditation, we think, oh, I'm doing sitting meditation. I'm following the timetable, doing sitting meditation and walking meditation, but the mind is not focusing on the objects. And again, we don't get any benefits that we are expecting for. So therefore, these 2 hindrances are mostly occur during the practice, and we have to put up more effort. We have to boost effort to dispel those hindrances. And this Uddhacca Kukutsa is compared with a slave. Yeah, olden days, there are slaves. And a slave, he does not belong to himself. Yeah, he belongs to his master, his owner. He does not belong to himself. So he cannot move freely. He cannot move freely. He cannot go wherever he wants. He cannot eat whatever he wants to eat. Yeah, if there is festivals, he cannot celebrate the festivals. All he has to do is to follow his master's order, to listen his master. Whatever the master asks him to do, he has to do. He does not have his own time. Yeah, always looking his master's face, what he is ordering, what he is asking to do, then he just do that. He is not free. But when he get a freedom, means he is not no more slave now, then he got his freedom. Now wherever he wants to go, he can go. Whatever he wants to eat, he can eat. He can celebrate anything because he is free now. So in the same way, when we are overwhelmed by uddhacca, kukucca, nivarana, this sloth and torpor, we cannot get what we want. We cannot get what we want. We cannot get what we expect. We cannot reach our goal because we are overwhelmed by this sloth and torpor. But when we are able to dispel this because of this restlessness and worry or remorse, uddhacca, kukucca. But when we are free of this uddhacca, kukucca, restlessness and remorse, then we can now enjoy the viveka sukha, the joy of seclusion. We can enjoy the joy of seclusion, viveka sukha. We can enjoy the taste of the Dhamma, taste of the practice. We can gain the benefits of the practice. Therefore, whenever the uddhacca, kukucca, nivarana, the hindrance of restlessness and remorse arises, we have to note it immediately. And the fifth hindrance is vicikiccha nivarana, the hindrance of skeptical doubt. Skeptical doubt. When there is a doubt, we cannot decide anything. The mind cannot decide anything. The mind does not have any ability to come to the definite decision. Uncertainty is there. The skeptical doubt, vicikiccha. And the mind becomes confused. When there is doubt, the mind becomes confused. And this type of doubt, when there is doubt, we cannot decide. This doubt here means, especially now we are doing Satipatthana practice, doubt on the method of the practice that we are doing here. If we have a doubt on this practice, in this method, we cannot follow this method very perfectly, very effectively. We are always having doubt whether this method is a correct method or not, whether this method brings to the destination that we want to reach or not, whether it is said that by practicing this method one can gain the vipassana knowledge and also path and fruition knowledge. Would that be possible? Just observing the every arising physical and mental phenomena, one can gain insight knowledge and also the path and fruition knowledge. Will that be possible? Something like that. That type of confusion, that type of doubt is vicikiccha nivarana. And sometimes when we did many kinds of practice, many types of practice in the past, then now we are doing this method, we are following this practice, and again the doubt may arise. We confused. because we are comparing this present method with the other methods that we have done in the past. And that brings more confusion. So when there is doubt, we cannot walk further. We stuck on the way. So we won't reach our destination. In the text, it is said that, for example, there is a traveler traveling with many valuable things, and some people come to know that this person, this traveler, is traveling with very many valuable things. So he informed other thieves. So that they can steal the valuable things. And this person also come to notice that. But he's traveling, he goes very fast with the valuable things. And he's very afraid also on the way. Whenever he heard some sound of trees or some sticks, then he feel, oh, somebody is coming, somebody is chasing me. So he feel very afraid. But he continue walk, and he found now two road. So now he become confused which way he should follow, right or the left one. Which way will be more safe to travel? He confused. He could not decide at once, and he's thinking, which way should I follow, the right way or the left one? So while he was thinking that way, because he's very confused, he has a doubt which way is more safe. And the thieves who are chasing him, they meet this person, and so they kill him and take all the valuable things. So this person could not reach his destination. Same way, when we have a lot of doubt in the practice, we could not decide. We could not decide. We confuse all the time. Whatever objects appear in the practice, whatever objects that we are noting, there is a doubt whether this object is real or not. The rising and falling movement in the abdomen that I'm feeling, is really happening, or am I making my abdomen rises and falls? The doubt occurs. So if we are having that type of doubts all the time, then we cannot focus the object. We cannot observe the objects. And because of the doubt, there won't be a faith, satta, in the practice also. Before come to the retreat, we have a satta, a certain satta, faith and confidence, because of, therefore we are here. But when we are doing practice, if we are having a lot of doubts regarding the practice, then that saddha will not grow, that saddha will not increase, it will not become stronger. So we could not continue the practice. We won't be able to continue the practice because the faith and confidence, the saddha, is not growing up. It is not increasing, it is not developing. Therefore, this kind of doubt, the skeptical doubt, is also a very big hindrance for the practice. And whenever we have that type of doubt occurs in the mind, we have to note it immediately. That is also the object. So observing these 5 kinds of hindrances whenever they arise, whenever they arise in the mind, observing that hindrances is Dhammanupassana, contemplating the Dhammas as the Dhammas. So whenever there is the sensual desire, whenever ill will occurs, whenever sloth and torpor occurs, whenever restlessness and remorse occurs, and whenever the skeptical doubt occurs, we should note it immediately with full effort and aiming, so that those hindrances will not last for a long time. We will be able to dispel them very quickly if we note them immediately with full force. And here the ordinary effort or the initial effort is not enough. We need to boost up our effort. Nekkhamma dhatu. We need to put more effort to note them. So especially this restlessness, boredom, laziness, this type of feeling in the mind, it is very bad. So we have to know them, and we have to note them very carefully. With full force, we have to dispel them. We should not hold on something. Sometimes our mind, our noting mind, it holds something, especially something that we don't like. The mind easily hold on that. And if we are holding something, then we have to know that also. We have to notice and note that. We should not hold anything. Whatever objects appear at that very moment, just try to observe them. And when we feel a mind scattered a lot, mind cannot focus on any objects, at that time try to stay with few objects. And when we feel lots of sloth and torpor, feel very sleepy, something like that, then sometimes we need to increase the number of objects so that the mind becomes more active. So that way we can gain. If we practice that way, we gain the benefits. We progress in the practice very quickly. So may you all be able to observe any kind of hindrances whenever they arise with full effort and with aiming, so that those hindrances do not overwhelm the mind, and you get the progress in the practice very quickly. That's all for today.